Well, Mark, managed to get that Spurs defeat out the system.
Well, we hope so. Yeah, we did. We didn't perform on the day, unfortunately, for whatever reason. I have to say, of all the top teams that we play, Spurs clearly give us more problems than most, because obviously we've been well beaten in the last 3 games we've played against them. And I said last year that I felt when we faced them just before the running, I felt they were the best team we'd faced, and on their two showings this year against us, I haven't changed my view on that. They are the strongest team, or the team that causes ourselves more problems than most.
I suppose you can't be too hard on your players either. You know, they've had a good run up until that.
Yeah. I mean, it's before Tottenham, we were on a decent run. Only I think it was one defeat in 6-7 games. So key is to get back on track and start winning games again. Go on another run. We've got 12 or so games to go, so we can see what's ahead of us, and it's now about kicking on and making sure we finish strongly if we can.
What is realistic as far as a finish for you?
Well, we'll keep going and see where it takes us. I think it's important to keep going to the end. There'll be no letting up in terms of what we're trying to do. We've got 32 points at the moment. We need more points on the board as well. So our focus is clear and strong. So we're not taking a foot off the pedal in any way, shape or form. So we've got a game against a team that's obviously looking for points themselves. So it'll be difficult again tomorrow, and strong teams to face in the next 2 games as well, Man City and Chelsea. So we're in a difficult period in terms of fixtures, but it's up to us to get on with it and get better performances out there.
I guess a bright point from last week was the return of Jeff Cameron. Is he?
Yeah, Jeff's had a good week's training, so that's important. I think obviously Jeff is a big guy, but he's athletic. He can get around the pitch and he can close people down, which at times we struggled with last weekend. So it's good that he's back. He had an injury when he was playing really well in the side and having a real effect for us, and really strange injury. Only expected him to be out 2 or 3 weeks. Ended up being 2 or 3 months. So it's good that he's back. He should be strong now for the end of the season.
And Middlesbrough come here. Is your big task tomorrow going to be about breaking their defence down?
Well, they are very solid. They don't give too many opportunities or too many goals, and if they do get beaten, then it is usually by the odd goal. They can frustrate you. They get themselves organised and get people behind the ball, but they've still got good threats on the break, a little bit of pace, good presence from Negredo up top as well with his link-up play. So as with all Premier League teams, almost every team in the Premier League without fault has got game changers or players within their group that can hurt you and turn the game against you. So we've got to be vigilant, but we've got those type of players ourselves. So it's up to us to make sure that we get the job done, get back on track, and finish the season strongly.
I guess at this stage of the season, teams like Middlesbrough carry a threat in the fact that they're fighting for their life.
Well, that's the case, and you see all the teams down the bottom. There's evidence of a little bit of change in attitude and focus, because they see what's ahead of them and what they have to do. And maybe earlier in the season that focus isn't there for whatever reason, then they find themselves at the bottom end. And there's a lot of clubs that you see signs of life now. So Middlesbrough obviously won't want to change their league form around. Don't think they've had a win for quite some time. So we've got to be wary, clearly, because they're a team that's striving to get back to winning ways, and that's going to be the case whether or not they're playing away or at home at this stage of the season, because games are running out.
Just a couple more from me. Ibra Afellay, good news on your contract?
Yeah, we're really pleased that Ibby's recontracted with us. Obviously had a significant injury, and We were a little bit worried, clearly, that you're never quite sure how these injuries pan out. But he's come back really strong, had an influence in games, and he's getting stronger every day in training. And it's a good decision from us. He's a good player. Got a lot of attributes that we'll need moving forward. So we're delighted. I think people forget maybe that prior to his injury 8-9 months ago, he was arguably one of our best players last year. So to have him back fit and well after a serious injury is credit to him as well, because of the work that he's put in and how professional he's been in his rehab, and great that he's back and going to be with us for a number of years now.
Wilfred Brownlee, you've seen some strange comments overnight from him about the fact that he's not playing. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Will's been a little bit unlucky. I've not seen the courses myself, but he had a good run initially when he came here. Something like 10-11 games, I think it was. Fair to say, he didn't score as many goals as he would have liked and as I would have liked. So went out with the team, and then he went to the African nations, a couple of nations, and he was away from here for a while. And during that time, Peter Crouch came into the side, did really well, and it's been difficult for Wilf to get back in. Clearly we've brought Saido Berahino into the club as well in the meantime, so that's an extra striker on the books. So he's just going to have to be patient, unfortunately, as all good players have to be. When they're out the side, they get a little bit frustrated, but it's where it is at the moment. But he'll get opportunities, I'm sure, before the end of the season.
Not the first player to show his distaste of not playing, is he?
No, all good players. Will's a good player and a good guy, but sometimes frustration gets a little bit of the better of them, and they just have to be patient. And when opportunities present themselves, they've got to take them.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
On Saido, how's he settling in? How are his levels come up?
Yeah, he's doing very well. Yeah, every day we see that improvement that we're looking for. So no, he looks in good shape. He's doing extra work over and above what the main group does. So that's more to do with the sharpness of his work in terms of his finishing, which we've been really impressed with. In fairness, really impressed with the quality of his finishing and his ability to finish in any situation. So that's something we were aware of, clearly, because that's one of the main reasons we brought him here. But actually working with him on a day-to-day basis and seeing him firsthand, I'm more impressed by his finishing ability than possibly I was before actually bringing him to the club. So that's a real positive. So he's clearly very much in my thoughts. He's going to be a big player for us moving forward. So it's only a matter of time before he starts scoring goals for us.
On Borough, they don't score a lot of goals. When you've analysed them, is that down to the way that they're set up, the lack of adventure, or are they just unlucky?
Well, it can be. I think they're set up to be nice and solid and protect what they've got initially. But then clearly they've still got talent within their group that enables them to counter-attack quickly. So you have to be wary of that threat. But obviously they work from a solid base and a defensive base that keeps them in games, so that if and when, which they usually do, when they create chances, if they take them, then they've got an opportunity to win games. So that seems to be the philosophy that they have, and I would imagine that philosophy will change from now to the end of the season. Maybe it has to, and they have to be a little bit more expansive to win games rather than draw them. But we'll see if that changes, maybe.
Just finally, a bit of a left field one. Chinese Super League, was there any interest in any of your players? I know a lot of clubs have said they've been speaking to agents and various things.
Not that I'm aware of. No, I mean, it's a league that's throwing a lot of money around at the moment, and under certain circumstances players might be tempted by that, but it's dependent on where they are in terms of the stage of career that they're at and whether or not they see that as the best option. Clearly sometimes money talks, and you go where the finance takes you, but I think it's more for players towards the end of their contract rather than mid-term.
Mark, I saw Jordan didn't quite make it to the squad last time.
Shaq's a doubt for the weekend. He's going to train with us today, but that'll be his first day back training with the group. So he's more likely to be available for the games next week.
That's still just the same issue?
Yeah, it's just the issue with his calf. Yeah, it just needs to settle down.
And then Johnny Walters.
John's doing fine. John's training at full pelt at the moment, so yeah, he's available. Glenn Johnson's trained all week as well, so he'll be better for that. So he's available as well.
And just in terms of Wilf missing out, was that just a case of, a selection decision that you made?
Yeah, that's all there is. It's not a reflection on Wilf at the moment. He's behind a couple of plays, so when I make changes and whatever, and when I've got cover on the bench, unfortunately he missed out last weekend as a consequence. So I'm assuming that's why he's had a little bit of a reaction in the press. So it's difficult at the moment. You've got to try and preempt every situation in a game. So clearly you want cover on the bench. So ideally you want 2 defenders, 2 midfield players and two attackers. And as a consequence of that, Wilf missed out last week.
Mark, 12 fixtures left, and Stoke fans have noticed that Middlesbrough are struggling and they're going to be thinking this is a safe 3-pointer. Does it make your job harder managing those sort of expectations?
Well, I don't think we underestimate any team that we face. Middlesbrough, as we've already discussed, are fighting for their lives and they need points on the board. So it'd be a difficult game for us. It's dependent whether or not they come with a view that they're going to try and get maximum points, or they stick with what they've done for the most of the season in terms of having a good defensive platform and look to break and pick you off with counter attacks. So it's dependent on where they see themselves, whether or not that impacts negatively on our game plan. First and foremost, we need to get back to playing as we know we can. We let ourselves down last week, so more often than not, and I've said it many times here, that when we do disappoint ourselves and everybody connected to the club, then more often than not we bounce back quickly, almost immediately. So that's the reaction I expect tomorrow. Okay. Al. Cheers, guys.